Hello everyone, hope you all are doing very well. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Afkash. So we all know that updating the kernel version in any Ubuntu machine, sometimes it's very successful path. Everything goes very smooth, but most of the time we all met various problems. So this video is dedicated to updating the Ubuntu 22.04 machine kernel to the very latest one. We are going to see that how I am updating the Ubuntu 22.04 5.19.x kernel to the very latest one 6.2.1 by using the application called mainline. However, after the successful kernel update, we met a problem where the latest Nvidia driver, which was 525.89.02, stopped working after the kernel update. When we reinstall the same latest driver in the updated kernel machine, we met a bunch of problems. So this video is identifying the root cause, finding a solution, applying the solution, and after that updating the very latest NVIDIA display driver on top of the very latest 6.2.1 Ubuntu kernel. So let's get ourselves started. So here in this machine I have Ubuntu 22.04 and the kernel which I'm running right now is the 5.19.032. You can also run the command uname-mrs, and that is also going to give you the currently running kernel in your Ubuntu machine. I do have the NVIDIA Titan XP and very latest display driver installed in this machine. So from display perspective, this machine is up to date and it's running the latest driver, which is released in February 2023. So the objective in this video is to update our kernel to the latest one or something desired one in a Ubuntu 22.04 machine. So very first thing what we will do is that we are going to install the application called the mainline, and mainline application is going to help us check the available kernel versions which are available for this particular Ubuntu machine 22.04, and then we can select a particular kernel which we want to update or downgrade, and everything that application is going to help us. So first thing, we need to install the application. So before we do everything, we can say sudo apt-update, and this particular repo cappelikan actually has this mainline Ubuntu kernel installer package. So we need to add this cappelikan repo in our repo collection for the Ubuntu so we can install the mainline. So we are going to run the sudo add-apt-repository. This is exactly the command which we are using. Let's run it, enter. Next, sudo apt-update. Now we can install the mainline package. So sudo apt install mainline-y. So yes, install it. Mainline application is successfully installed. We did not see any error. We can look into our applications. As you can see, Ubuntu mainline application has been installed. Let's launch it. And while it's launching, we can look into here, and the command was uname mrs-mrs, and as you can see, it shows that we are running 5.19.032. So we are here 5.19.032, And since then, as you can see that there are several new kernel updates available. So 6.2.1 is the latest kernel, and you can actually look into the date. It's actually released on 25th of February. We can install. A new window is open. These are different kernels are already installed in this machine. However, only one is really being used. Now 6.2.1 is being downloaded. Let's give the root password. Installation is completed and a reboot is required. So we have to reboot this system so that we can get the latest 6.2.1 kernel is loaded when this machine is going to be restart. We can close this. Let's reboot this machine. Keep in mind that we are running 5.19. Here we are back. Let's make sure that what is our kernel as of now. Uname test mrs. Our kernel is 6.2.1 generic. We can also do the neofetch. Neofetch shows that we have 6.2.1 latest kernel installed in this machine. However, a problem happened is that we do not have the NVIDIA Display Driver running, and we can prove it by using nvidia-smi. And previously our display driver was working without any problems. Let's take a look. Here, look into the drivers list. You can see that currently the system is using this driver, which is the base driver. We need to use the NVIDIA proprietary driver. So we can use one of the driver which is already installed here, or we can actually install a very new driver by downloading from NVIDIA website. And I have another video which you can actually use to update your NVIDIA driver to newer ones or the one which you would want to use in your Ubuntu machine. So let's use this 525 proprietary one which is tested and apply changes. Now this driver has been selected. We can close this window. We can run the NVIDIA-smi. And as you can see that this SMI is not able to connect because the driver is not available into the graphics device manager. And in order to use that driver, we need to reload this machine. One option is that you can use command line to reload the graphics device manager. But the best option is that we can actually reboot the machine, which will help us to make sure that the driver is loaded successfully when this machine was started and the graphics device manager was loaded during the boot up sequence of this Ubuntu machine. So let's reboot it. The machine is restarted. Let's check the NVIDIA-smi. It shows that 525.85.05 driver is loaded. We can also look into the neofetch. Kernel is updated, but unfortunately, the driver is not the latest one which we were expecting. 525.89.02 is not loaded. Downloads, NVIDIA. As you can see that 525.89.02, which is the very latest driver from NVIDIA, is already available in this machine. So I just really need to install it. So step 1, go back to base driver, non-NVIDIA one. After that, reboot the machine. After the reboot, we need to make sure the driver is not loaded in the memory. NVIDIA-smi, driver is not loaded in the memory. Now go to downloads, sudo NVIDIA, run the driver. And remember, we are updating from 525.8506 to 8902. And you need to make sure that NVIDIA driver is not loaded into the memory. Driver is being installed. Continue. And there is some error. Let's look into the var log NVIDIA installer log. And because we hit the error, so we are looking into the installer log to see. So we are updating 525.8902. And looking into the log, we can see that after we have updated our kernel to very latest one 6.2.1, the Linux GNU GCC version mismatch is happening in my machine, which is causing this driver, latest NVIDIA driver, to not install. So we need to update the GNU GCC in this machine first. So let's open another window. We can see GCC version, and currently this is what we are using, Ubuntu 11.3. So we need to update it to the latest version, which is GCC 12. Let's update very quickly. So sudo apt-update, sudo apt install build essential. We are looking for 12.9 Ubuntu GCC. So if we need to update the GCC, we could say sudo apt install g ++-12. Yes. GCC. So we will go ahead and reboot this machine one more time. We have rebooted the machine. Let's check again. GCC. So sudo apt install GCC-12. So we need to update the GCC 12 as well after G++. You can say G++ version. They both are pointing to 11.3. We can actually look into the policy. We can say apt cache policy for GCC 12. And same thing we can do for G++. Install candidate. So we do have GCC and G++ installed. However, the G++ is actually still showing the previous version. At this point, we can go ahead and try to install the driver and see if we are still getting the error. Sudo nvidia, continue. So the error is still there. Var log nvidia installer. Let's see, where is GCC? Sorry, where is GCC? And where is G++? We can look into ll user bin G++ is actually pointing to G++-11 symlink, and we can also look into the GCC is pointing to G11, and we can see in the user bin if there is GCC 12. There is definitely GCC 12. Here we can also look into the G++ 12 So the best option is that we actually create these new shim to refer to GCC 12, GCC 12. If we look into this, we can say user bin GCC 12 version is referred to 12.1. Same thing, we could say G++. And it's also looking for Ubuntu 12, which is what we needed here. 12.209, it is 12.1. So there is some difference between the version. Here is expecting for 12.209. However, we can try first 12.1.0 and see if that works. If not, then we will try to get the exact version of the GCC. So this is the symlink. So we can actually first remove. So remove G++-11 user bin sudo and then GCC11. So these two are removed. Now we need to create ln-ash. So the path is going to be the real file. So real is going to be the user bin GCC-12, and we need to create the user bin GCC sudo let's see where the links are. So we can say ll user bin GCC G++. So we are removing the symlink G++ GCC. Now we can build this GCC to GCC and G++ to G++12. Now you can say here G++ is referred to 12 and GCC referred to 12. GCC dash version 12 and G++ dash version 12. Now we can come back and try to install the driver again. Yes, installed. So the error we had is removed because the dependency on GCC 11 was there, and then we updated the GCC from 11 to 12, and we make sure that GCC 12 is accessible through proper symlinks, and now the drivers were installed. And remember, we are updating to the latest NVIDIA 525.89.02 driver. Yes, we would configure the NVIDIA xconfig, so the driver will be loaded automatically when the machine is going to start. Okay, we make sure everything is okay here the way we would want it. And after the driver is installed, I will go ahead and I will reboot this machine. So make sure the driver is loaded into the graphics device manager when the system boots up. The machine is reloaded and we can check the nvidia-smi 525.89.02. Yeah, the driver is loaded. We can run the neofetch. Now we have latest kernel, which is 6.2.1, latest one, which we have installed. And now we have the latest NVIDIA driver 525.89.02. And we can also validate that our GCC is also responding to 12.1 and our G++ is also responding to 12.1.0. So that was our objective. Our objective was to not only update the kernel to the very latest one, 6.2.1, we use the mainline package. Then we have also updated the drivers, NVIDIA drivers, to have the latest one running in this machine. And we have completed our both objectives. So that's all I had for you in this video. I hope you have enjoyed the content. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Until then, thank you so much.